It looks innocent as a gigantic egg, but its unseen powers are so great that its worshippers beg the thing's indulgence in self-abasing ceremonies.
The screen has ever shown before can surpass the thrills of Ghidra, the three-headed monster. Created from an atomic fireball hurled from outer space, Ghidra, the three-headed monster, threatens man's very existence on Earth. Ghidra, the three-headed monster, battles Godzilla, Mothra, and Rodan for mastery of the world. Men quake before the terror of their unleashed fury. All new, all never to be forgotten. A new high in screen terror. Ghidra, the three-headed monster.
ある日、ある時、遠い空の彼方から音もなく地球に忍び寄る者。宇宙から来た怪物、ドゴラ。
問題はこの細胞がどんどん繁殖していったらどうなるかだ。
警視庁外事課の狛江です。
何遍も言うようだが、最近世界的にダイヤの盗難事件が起こってる。
国際的組織を持つギャング団を追い詰めた刑事たち。彼らの見たものは何か。
過去数回に及ぶ人工衛星消滅事件の発生箇所がいずれも日本列島上空であることが問題だとしております。
そうだ。どうしたんだ。ダイヤは偽物だったんだ。
高度8700、目標移動せず。
よし、警部隊攻撃開始。
警部隊攻撃開始。
世界に誇る東方特撮人がゴジラ、モスラに続いて送り出す話題の新怪獣ドゴラ。宇宙大怪獣ドゴラにご期待ください。
Of the Red Death, personalized by the motion picture screen's prince of horror, Vincent Price.
Karatsan.
No, I beg of you! Mercy, mercy!
With the devil's own darling, Hazel Court.
Lord Satan, send me a demon, so I may know I'm to be your wife.
And a lost, virginal angel of innocence, Jane Asher.
I want to help save your soul so you can join me in the glories of hell.
No, never.
She's a woman cursed by Satan's seneschal, whose very existence turns the white rose blood red.
Diamonds, rubies, emeralds, pearls.
Lavishly, he plants his corrupting seeds of sin, spreading living terror that not even the unsullied can escape. Nor can one who craves all the forbidden pleasures of the depraved.
Each man creates his own heaven, his own hell.
Let me see your face.
We switch you to the state capitol, where His Excellency, the Governor, is speaking from the Executive Mansion.
Further, I have, in conjunction with the federal government, declared this state to be a disaster area.
I was sent to keep you here until they come.
To kill me.
Vampires, alive among the lifeless, that make the night hideous with their inhuman cravings. If they are not destroyed in the flaming pits of hellfire, or staked to the ground in the light of the sun, will the unbelievable become real? A world of inanimate zombies by day, irresistible, horrifying attackers by night. Can a zombie woman's hunger for love repopulate the earth?
L'assassino infierito su quella poveretta deve aver usato un ferro rovente. Si tratta certo di un pazzo.
Odio maniaco sessuale spinto da furia omicida.
Che uccide solo le belle donne.
Certo. Forse è proprio la bellezza femminile che gli fa perdere la testa e lo spinge ad uccidere.
Ma non hai paura a star sola? Isabella e Peggy abitavano con te. Isabella è stata uccisa e Peggy...
E anche con questa prendeva la droga? Quel vizio lei ce l'ha. Ce l'ha scritto chiaro sulla faccia. Se vuole posso anche dirle dove si procura la droga.
Maledetto assassino! Maledetto! Confessa, sei tu l'assassino! Ispettore, lo faccio visitare, è un impotente! Ah, no! Per questo odia le donne! Le ucciderebbe tutte perché non può averne nemmeno una!
A house of high fashion, a dazzling whirl of elegance, of exotic, extravagant beauties. An adventurous journey into the devastating allure of the most sophisticated women and their intimate secrets.
Suddenly, these lace curtains ignite a drama that will lacerate your emotions. Blood and black lace. Who is this shrouded, sadistic, sordid fiend who maims and murders? Why this bloodthirsty orgy, this holocaust of lives? Blood and black lace in bleeding color. A shattering, shivering, shocking experience.
What is the eerie secret behind the 7 faces of Dr. Lau? Do they come from another world, or are they just one mysterious being? When more unusual pictures are made, you may be sure George Powell will make them. His War of the Worlds, Time Machine, and Destination Moon are now joined by the strange and fascinating adventures of Dr. Lau and his amazing companions.
You wish your future told?
How do you do? The name is Merlin. I am the greatest magician the world has ever known.
Hi there. Do I look familiar to you?
What in the world is a Medusa?
A Medusa, dear heart, is a creature with snakes on her head. And if you look at her face, you turn to stone.
I'll show her!
What kind of Oriental hocus pocus is going on around here?
Aye, sir.
am a major mystery.
Out of nowhere he came, a mysterious stranger. And for those he opposed or defended, life was never again the same.
This town ain't big enough for you and me, partner.
A magician, surely, but one who made his magic with such things as love's young dream and the fun in a little boy's heart. Here truly is entertainment for all ages.
I was born in the year 1204.
I am 7,322 years old.
I'm 8 going on 9.
Here is the mysterious beauty of the Far East and the roaring action of the Far West. The thrill spectacle of the city that never was, and the most fabulous fish story in history.
A genuine bona fide sea serpent. In the water, he is small, insignificant, petite. But out of the water, and he doubles his size every 10 seconds until he reaches his full growth.
Just imagine a sea monster who can't stand the water. How about that?
Oh, I got him! Oh, I got him! Oh,
That's showbiz! Thank you.
You see me in these pleasant surroundings, safe, secure. But am I really? Are you? There's a side of life we tend to ignore, the world of humans so callous, so degraded they are worse than animals. My new picture, Lady in a Cage, explores that world. It's a strong picture with a terrifying theme which affects us all. That's why I urge adult, responsible people to see Lady in a Cage. You will be shocked, you will be terrified, and fascinated. So I caution you, do not see it alone. See Lady in a Cage with somebody you can hold on to for dear life.
Lady in a cage, locked in her own madhouse of insane intruders, powerless to stop the psychopathic horror that hems her in.
We're gonna kill you, Pop. All of you. You. And a human being.
Olivia de Havilland, helpless before the rage of such characters as the wino, half crazed with his own destroying sin. The hustler, a blousy has-been, the most amazing role Ann Southern has ever played. The muscler, lusting for the last wild thrill of killing. The weirdo, a blonde psycho driven to tempt, to taunt, to destroy. The wildo, frenzied by a woman's body or the razor edge of a sharp, glittering knife. They're all in Lady in a Cage, the picture that is not for the weak. And perhaps not even for the strong.
For me, I'm an animal. Right now, I am all animal. A lot of time, I can't even make animal. Well, come on in here.
Kill the wino, I see.
No.
No. No, not with no praying.
Help! Help! Get help! Help! Help!
If you cringe at violence, scream with fear, faint at horror, Lady in a Cage may not be for you. But if you can take the screen's heights of dramatic excitement, don't miss it.
Since time began, man has been fascinated by the mystery of the moon. But over 60 years ago, writer H.G. Wells anticipated the shape of things to come with his fascinating adventure, First Men in the Moon. The story of the first men to bridge the 250,000 miles between heaven and earth. This is how it began.
This is a solemn moment in the history of mankind. We're off!
What's happening?
Just as I predicted, shot into space with the speed of a bullet!
First Men in the Moon. An experience unparalleled on the screen as two worlds meet and clash.
Cover! Help me, cover!
First Men in the Moon. Starring Edward Judd, first human to set foot on a strange new world in space. Martha Heyer, the first woman to experience the indescribable dangers of this other world.
Stay away from there or I'll shoot!
Lionel Jeffries, who discovers an empire beyond imagination. First Men in the Moon. Filmed in Dynamation. Dynamation, miracle of the screen, captures the whole marvelous, miraculous story of man's first journey to the moon.
Oh, it makes all other forms of power obsolete. That's why they're getting their power from sunlight.
You will discover human ant-like creatures H.G. Wells called selenites. And giant gastropods.
Cover, run!
Fearsome moon monsters to be hunted and killed. You will encounter another world of eerie beauty and infinite mystery.
Soon others will be coming from Earth. Our galleries will be strewn with dead. I'm the only one who holds the secret of Cabarite. Then you and your secret will remain here on the moon. Cabo! Cabo, this is not an audience. You're on trial. No, Bedford! No! You're convicted!
You are interrupting my work.
Your work. The work of the devil.
Hans, please, Father. You can't. No!
The evil of Frankenstein. The evil of a man who created a monster by crude surgery and harnessed the tempestuous forces of nature to give it life. The evil of Frankenstein unleashed a monster that terrorized a whole community. Peter Cushing as the Baron, and Peter Woodthorpe as the ruthless Professor Zoltan, who fought the Baron for control of the monster.
Oh, he'll understand you, all right. He just won't obey you. That's all.
Duncan Lamont as the Chief of Police. Katie Wilde and Sanderels as two young people caught up in the evil of Frankenstein.
Get out of his way, you fool!
Go back and kill him.
Warning! Warning! Beware! The curse of the mummy's tomb. The vultures are gathering for yet another feast. Beware! You infidels and unbelievers, take heed of the curse. Do not meddle with the secrets of the dead.
I must take you into my confidence and warn you. There is a curse which says that all persons present at the opening of a pharaoh's coffin and who gaze at the face of the mummy therein shall die. You have been warned.
You have been warned. You, Terence Morgan, beware. Your past may catch up with you. You, Ronald Howard, beware. Let the sleeping mummy lie. You, Fred Clark, beware. Let gold not be your god. And you, Jean Roland, beware the love of a handsome stranger. And all of you here now, beware the forbidden secrets of life and death.
You cannot run away from the curse of the mummy's tomb. We're all doomed to die for this act of desecration.
The curse of the mummy's tomb reveals the mystery, the murders. The terrifying story of a rampaging bandage and bone monster stalking those who defiled its tomb of terror.
It takes just 10 seconds for the flesh eaters to strip the last bit of flesh from any living thing.
Listen to those screams. They're eating him alive.
These things want flesh, any kind of flesh. And once they sense it, they lead their way to anything that comes between them and their meat.
They stood alone, surrounded by the most abominable threat ever faced by human beings.
Don't touch those things! I need bandages, strips of cloth, anything, quickly!
One by one, half mad with terror, they turned upon each other.
You'll die first, Roger! You'll die first!
You killed her! Animal! You will lie down in one of the contaminated areas and be our guinea pig.
What was the dread secret of this horror that was born out of science and madness? Was there no way to escape? The Flesh Eaters.
You're all invited to a centennial celebration. What they were celebrating wasn't important, and it sounded like a heap of fun until 2,000 maniacs, crazed for carnage, started bathing an entire town in pulsing human blood. You'll see 6 young strangers doomed to slaughter by an ancient curse.
There came an awful sound.
And from his lips there came an awful sound.
Brutal, evil, ghastly beyond belief. You'll see the most diabolical device ever contrived, designed solely for assassination by a town of madmen, insane with bloodlust.
Stonewall took a gun and he made the Yankees run, but he
2,000 maniacs, gruesomely stained in blood color.
Stonewall said, I'm a-giving you a dying man's request.
I'm a-giving you a dying man's request. Yeah!
Starring Playboy's favorite playmate, Connie Mason.
Yeah! Oh, the South's gonna rise again.
Winners of 5 prior Academy Awards and 21 Academy nominations now bring you suspense unequaled in the history of the screen. Shock that will leave you speechless.
Charlotte, what have you done?
Hush, hush, sweet Charlotte. Charlotte, don't you cry. Hush, hush, sweet Charlotte, I love you till I die.
Yes, I told Jewel. And I told your father, too. Why wouldn't I tell him that his pure, darling little girl was having a dirty little affair with a married man? You're a vile, sorry little tramp! How was I to know it would end in murder?
But it didn't end with murder, it just began. What was the warped and twisted thing that turned this house into a nightmare?
Where do you think you're going?
I'm going upstairs and I'm going to tell her what you've been up to. What's going on up there that you don't want me to see?
Now, Velma, co-starring Agnes Moorehead, Cecil Kellaway.
Don't you think I know what you're looking for in my house?
But what does it matter if you haven't anything to conceal?
Oh, but I have. I have things concealed. Vile things. Where do you suppose I keep them? Haven't you guessed?
Guest star Victor Buono.
You know what it's costing me not to kill you.
Also starring Mary Astor.
Let me tell you, Miriam Deering, that murder starts in the heart.
Don't turn on the light. It's only real when it's dark.
I won't turn on the light. Come along.
He's dead! He's dead!
Damn you. Now will you shut your mouth?
It has been said that every legend and myth known to mankind is not entirely without some truth. It was here, under a full moon, in the little village of Van Dorf, that an ancient legend suddenly terrifyingly came to life.
Doctor, you'll perform an autopsy.
On a body that's turned to stone?
Have you ever heard of Megara?
Megara?
It's said that when mortals looked upon her face, they were turned to stone.
Leave Vandorf before it's too late.
What is it you're afraid of?
I'm afraid for you.
Or of what I may discover, if I remain.
We want you out of this house, mister. Now.
For 2,000 years, Megara the Gorgon had kept her evil peace. But now this strange, unearthly creature returns to petrify every human being who crosses her path. Starring Peter Cushing as the doctor. Did his strange talents direct him to medicine or murder? Christopher Lee is the professor, confronted by a conspiracy of silence that paralyzed a village with terror.
Megara died 2,000 years ago. It's her spirit we're concerned with today. It's found a resting place in somebody.
Also starring Richard Pascoe, Barbara Shelley, Michael Goodliff. The terrifying realism of the Gorgon. She comes to life and brings death to all those who look upon her face.
Carla! I am waiting for Carla, Mr. Hines.
Castle of Blood. This is the shocking drama of a young writer who disregards the warning of his master, Edgar Allan Poe, and accepts a wager to pass the night in a castle of mystery and legend. The Castle of Blood. No one has ever witnessed and survived the awesome secrets, the ghostly events of this Castle of the Damned.
I've dreamed of this night. At last I can go away with the man I love.
You can't leave, Elizabeth. You're trapped in this castle.
Here the dead rise from their tombs once a year to repeat their hideous crimes of murder and passion.
Kiss me. Oh, yes, my dearest. Keep on embracing me. I want to absorb the warmth of your body.
For a moment, I thought that your heart had stopped.
I'm dead, Alan.
No! No, Herbert, no! No!
Every death is repeated tonight. Come.
No, Elizabeth.
Edgar Allan Poe's most gripping, chilling drama of horror and suspense. Castle of Blood.
My chair.
She will not die because she willed not to die.
Ligeia, the tale of terror Edgar Allan Poe thought his greatest. The masterfully macabre performance of Vincent Price together bring to life the undead, to haunt the living. What is the strange infatuation that draws a lady to the Stygian stranger who lives with his terrifying black cat in a castle of dark, somber mystery?
Seeing you and seeing her.
Yet when you thought I was Ligeia, you tried to attack me.
You must trust me. Give over your will to mine. No harm will come to you. Give over your will to mine.
The strangest love story ever told, making her life a nightmare of heart-stopping horror, such as few humans have ever survived.
Experience all the heart-pounding suspense of this first two-man space probe, traveling more than 71 million astromiles toward Mars. Here are all the unexpected terrors of outer space.
Unidentified flying mass. Dead ahead.
Collision course. Fire main retros.
Firing main retros.
Mars gravity's taking over, pulling us down. Prepare to eject. Emergency procedure. Blast off when you're ready.
The scorching surface of the fire swamp that is Mars. A world no man has ever seen, and now one man must explore alone. A temporary home is found. How long can a man stay alive?
Now, my two most difficult problems are air and water. I have, with what's left in my tank and one reserve cylinder, enough oxygen for, about 60 hours. Of course, once my air gives out, water won't matter.
No air to breathe, but suddenly an unexpected source of oxygen. The life-giving miracle of the yellow stones that burn like coal. Here is a modern Robinson Crusoe struggling for survival in a cruel environment. Finding water. Discovering a source of nourishment. But unable to lick the most terrifying problem of all.
You've got to face the reality of being alone forever.
The devastating laser beams with which spacemen from the constellation Orion excavate the rare minerals of Mars. The escaping slave worker who becomes a modern man Friday. The storm of burning ashes whose fury descends on Mars. The polar ice cap and the wild surface storms that cover the planet with freezing cold. The holocaust of searing hell when Mars and a flaming asteroid collide and turn the ice cap into molten lava. The violent celestial bombardment of Mars by attacking humanoids from another galaxy.
When I put those clothes on, something happens to me. Something frightening.
From the loneliness and simplicity of an isolated farm to the sophisticated elegance of a country estate, Straitjacket mounts to a crescendo of electrifying suspense. Sinister. Frightening.
Bill! Bill! Don't you go in that room!
Joan Crawford in a shattering screen portrayal. A frantic woman pressured by straitjacket tension.
Leave me alone! You let go of me! Listen to me!
Just call me Lucy. I wouldn't like my little girl to think I was trying to take her fellow away from her.
Carol and Michael are going to be married! And nobody's gonna stop it!
Ingeniously designed to shock and startle, Straitjacket may go beyond the limits of your ability to endure suspense.
Mother!
He's gone.
Oh, my God!
The author of the famed novel Psycho, the director of the widely acclaimed chiller Homicidal, the co-star of Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, join forces to create a frightening classic of shock and suspense.
Vanessa Whitlock, born 1595, condemned 1630, and buried alive as a witch.
This? We found it pinned to a window curtain in Forrester's office.
It's a witch's charm. A devil doll.
Lon Chaney stars as Morgan Whitlock, inheritor of the secrets of the mystic cult.
Vanessa will be angry.
Vanessa?
Yes. She is coming to us. You will see her tonight yourself. At the Sabbath.
On the night of the witch's Sabbath, the Coven of 13 gathers for the Black Mass of Death.
Amy! Oh, no!
Wherever the unwary sleep, beware the terror of the witch's curse. Wherever the infirm struggle for life, beware the doom of the living dead.
Our story takes place at the end of the 15th century, a time when the powers of darkness were at their strongest, and man lived in fear of the unknown. A time when witch burning was a common occurrence, a public spectacle. The long hair of death. The Long Hair of Death, a film that will chill your spine and keep you gripped in your seat as you watch one of the most incredible stories of all time unfold before your eyes. You will see how the curse of a dying witch comes true as a village is ravaged by the plague and a man is hounded by his conscience and driven to commit one foul murder after another as he tries to satisfy his warped ambition. The Long Hair of Death, an unusual, unforgettable film. Do not miss The Long Hair of Death.
children. Behind their fiery, hypnotic eyes lurk the demon forces of another world. It's them or us, for these are the children of the damned. Children of the Damned. Even more eerie and startling than the sensational Village of the Damned.
I think they are the cells of man. Advanced maybe 1 million years.
Could they actually be creatures from other planets, centuries beyond us scientifically, invading the Earth disguised as children? There's Paul from England, Nina from Russia, Rashid from India, Mi Ling from China, Ago from Nigeria, and Mark from America. Who are they really? As we of the Earth push further and further into space, are they the answer to our probing?
They're not kids. Have you ever seen them laugh, run, play? No, by God, but you've seen them kill.
The ambassadors of all the Earth's nations experience their defiance.
Paul, we must know how to make that machine.
We'd never think of trying to force you, of course.
Theirs is the power of evil, turning friend against friend, hating, killing, yet armed with no weapon you can see or touch. Unless we can learn to live with them, we may cease to live at all. Can any force on Earth stop their fury?
At this very moment, they could be making all those men out there turn their guns on one another.
These everyday people are about to relive their dreams under hypnosis. They are not actors. Listen.
All of a sudden, we walk into a room. I turn around, there's no doors. There's no windows, and I have to go home.
As I go to kiss her, it seems as though we're surrounded by mosquitoes.
Only he's not wearing any clothes.
Charlie! Charlie, watch your bayonet! Watch your bayonet, Charlie!
What are dreams? What do they mean? When you dream, you wander into another world where everything is strange and terrifying. When you dream, you become a night walker. And now, a warning from William Castle, producer of The Night Walker.
Do you know that a dream can kill you? Gruesome thought, isn't it?
Do you hear that? It's the scream of a woman having a nightmare.
I love you so much.
That is the voice of a woman asleep, dreaming. Does her lover exist? Is he real, or is he only a dream lover? This can happen to you, too.
I know why my dreams seem real. Because when I'm awake, my life with you is like a nightmare. My lover is only a dream, but he's still more of a man than you.
Did you kill your husband?
If you do not see the Night Walker. It might be too much for you.
Slowly, relentlessly, destiny ticks off the terrifying minutes of anguish that freeze the blood. The castle of the living dead. In an atmosphere of horror, the story of a man who violates the forbidden frontiers of science to arrive at a frightful but lucid madness and atrocious inhuman crime. Starring the unforgettable creator of Dracula, Christopher Lee, in a new triumphant performance, breathtaking as never before, sadistic and pitiless, subtle and monstrous. It is a film with a thrill a minute. It will hold you spellbound with its unexpected, shocking surprises, in which tragic reality and unearthly fantasy blend in an atmosphere of horror and suspense.
Suddenly, a man dies at the controls of a train. Suddenly, a car swerves to destruction. Suddenly, a plane dives to death. The earth dies screaming. Suddenly, death descends on the four corners of the earth, and only a handful of human beings survive to live in fear, powerless to combat an unknown terror.
Turn it off. Who are you? That away, I'm not the enemy. I don't know who the enemy is.
The earth dies screaming, and the robots take over. Starring Willard Parker, Virginia Field, Dennis Price,
You said that she was dead.
She was. She was alive enough tonight. Except her eyes. Well, what was the matter with them? She hasn't got any eyes.
Here is paralyzing suspense as the earth dies screaming. Electrifying terror as the earth dies screaming.
Jeff!
Peggy! Peggy!
The robots.
What? Peggy!
Santa Claus conquers the Martians. Santa sets up a fantastic automatic toy factory on Mars. The Martian leader battles the wicked Voldar in a desperate effort to save Santa, the wise man of Mars. 900 years old. The Battle of the Toys, when Martian kids and Earth kids join Santa to battle the bad guys of Mars. For real space-age fun, you'll be out of this world when Santa Claus conquers the Martians.
While the beach set twists to the big beat sound of the Delaires, swinging out with 6 rocking hits. While the cycle gangs burn up the road and strong-arm their way into the party with fists flying. While teenagers prepare for a secluded slumber party, ghoulish atomic beasts who live off human blood. Again and again, the fiendish monsters struck like nothing that ever stalked this earth. An entire city in the throes of panic, at the mercy of demons from the dead. See the creature that undrapes the passions of the living.
You found me out there, didn't you? That part of it wasn't a dream. Where does the dream finish and reality begin?
Are you dreaming, Janet? Are you sleeping? Or is this a waking nightmare?
What do you mean by locking yourself in all day?
I'll tell you. Here, I'm safe. I don't have to worry about anybody sneaking up behind me with this.
What is it? An evil curse? An insane hoax? A nightmare? Or cold-blooded murder? Nightmare. Shocking, 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 shocking.
I will convert the desert sands into rock, the sun into snowstorms.
John Drew Barrymore as the mad master of the black arts, using every evil means in his desire to conquer the world.
Tomorrow you will present Silius and his generals in my Vestal Virgins.
Enslaved when did his thing. Soldiers were transformed into mindless pucks of the gods of zombies. The god who punches with fire and mummifies with the power of her evil third eye. War of the Zombies. Spectacle as big as the eye can perceive.
Azir! Azir! The Romans are coming! What?
ghastly, terrifyingly human, plaything of the devil, capable of such evil that only a cage can restrain its diabolical desires. It walks. It talks.
In Berlin, 1948. Find me.
It sees. It kills on blood-chilling command by thought control.
Hugo, she said you were ugly.
But somehow he's put a man's life into that doll.
Somehow, the malevolent mystery of the devil doll must be solved before more lives are lost to the monstrous power that manipulates it.
Look into it. So deep and rich and red and warm.
He's calling me, Mom. Please make it stop.
But there are no obvious answers, no mechanical tricks, nothing but sheer horror that grows and grows and explodes into violent, murderous action. You'll learn the dummy's sinister secret only at the very end of this most unusual suspense thriller. But for maximum shock, see it from the beginning. Devil Doll.
The power, cut it! Wait a minute, look!
You are still in your own world, Earth. The year is 2071.
The Time Travelers. Preston Foster, Philip Carey, Mary Anders, John Hoyt, and Dennis Patrick take you into a world beyond belief, where a season's growth can be condensed into seconds. Variable light becomes a seductive melodic symphony. And the Lumicord, the love machine, gives sensuous stimulation that conditions both men and women to a fuller, richer life of love. This is the world of the force field barrier, the laser pulse beam, the vibratransporter, and the Alpha Centauri starship. In the year 2071, scientific superbrains manufacture almost human robots. Whole armies of androids that fight off the feared mutants.
We are the last normal human beings on Earth. There is a creeping death all around us, and we cannot stay.
Where can you go?
To another planetary system.
Wait a minute, you can't go out there. The mutants are everywhere. There's one more.
What about the doll in her apartment?
Could be a fetish.
Fetish?
Fetish can be anything. Any non-sexual object that incites erotic feelings. In this case, a doll.
The Strangler, based on the terrifying crime wave that has gripped Boston and spread across the country.
That makes number 8 for The Strangler.
Yeah, it looks that way.
Starring Victor Buono. The shock sensation of whatever happened to Baby Jane as the most baffling, the most horrifying criminal in a decade.
Girl wasn't raped. There was no evidence of maltreatment after death.
No woman is safe as long as the Strangler lives and roams at will.
There are a lot of people who don't laugh at me anymore. They don't laugh at anybody.
Look, please go away.
I'll go.
A strange, shocking being of unpredictable emotions. No one knows when or where he will strike again, or who will be his next victim.
As science probes ceaselessly toward new frontiers, man's abilities approach the incredible. Today, human beings can be frozen alive. What unknown dangers await man as he probes for the truth of deep freezing? Will it mean suspended animation or death?
No. It's too much of a risk.
Too much of a risk? There is no risk. We've been saying there's no risk.
I know, but it's different when you're faced with it. I mean, we could be wrong. Will the human heart stand it? And what about brain damage from oxygen starvation?
-1 standard pressure.
-1 standard pressure.
Thermomodulator cut 50.
Thermomodulator cut 50.
Does he know? I'll answer that, Helen. At the moment, Dr. Overton is in the next room in a glass case surrounded by solidified gas at about -40 degrees centigrade. His life processes are suspended.
Alive?
Alive.
Jump the door, jump.
Contact scorching. Contact scorching.
So scary, so terrifying, we dare you to see The Maniacs Are Loose, the world's first horror movie made in hallucinogenic hypnovision. Hallucinogenic horrors not only on the screen, but in the audience all around you. It's a hallucinogenic nightmare. You are put in the middle of the picture with bloodthirsty maniacs all around you. Not only on the screen, but live maniacs in the audience. All over the theater, looking for victims. Homicidal maniacs escape from an asylum. They terrorize a community. Gullible, love-starved women become their prey. And you'll see these same bloodthirsty maniacs in the audience all around you, alive. For the thrill of your life, see The Maniacs Are Loose.
Look, then run for your life. Incredible is the word for the world's first monster musical. See in magnificent Eastman color, the daring, dancing, enticing, and horrifying. The incredibly strange creatures who stopped living and became mixed-up zombies. From the innocence of music and laughter comes the twilight of terror. Along the midway, scantily clad dancers luring the young lovers into the sideshows. See the dancing girls of the carnival murdered by the incredible night creatures of the Midway.
I only know that something evil lies ahead for me.
An unspeakable pit of dismal subhuman monsters who drool and gibber, moaning for the thrill of revenge. Incredible are the songs, the gaiety, the zombie stomp of those who will stop living. And then the mix-up, trickery, and the device to ruin. See the hunchback of the Midway fight a duel of death with the mixed-up zombies, turning men into monsters, twisted, tormented human vultures, yearning to kill. Incredible creatures clutching at the thin threads of their miserable lives. Human vultures, only the weird zombies remain.
Obey.
Who is the woman branded in birth wearing the wart of horror?
Do as Madame Estrella said.
The world's first monster musical. The incredibly strange creatures who stopped living and became mixed-up zombies.
Do you see anything?
From a planet 50 million miles beyond the stars came a strange message. Lend us your Rodan and Godzilla to fight our Monster Zero. Earth answered, and the most dreaded creatures ever to walk our planet are lifted into outer space. The stage is set for the mightiest battle ever seen by the universe in Monster Zero.
ガメラが無敵でもそれじゃあんまり脳がなさすぎるんじゃないですか。
今のところガメラを撃退するいかなる方法もありません。とにかくその冷凍爆弾をガメラにぶつけてみようじゃありませんか。賛成。皆さん、今すぐ避難してください。数千年の眠りから覚めた大怪獣ガメラがあなたを狙っています。
大変なんです。トシオはガメラにさらわれてしまいました。トシオ、死んじゃダメよ。トシオ。
僕はトシオ君を助けに行こう。
私も一緒に行くわ。
俺は新聞記者だ。
Pounding across the motion picture screen comes the most terrifying monster of them all. Gamera, the Invincible. Gamera, the super monster that even the H-bomb cannot destroy. Gamera, the Invincible.
Attention everyone! Take cover!
Gamera, consuming raw atomic power. Power to destroy entire cities.
Open fire!
Man's most destructive weapons have no effect on Gamera, the Invincible. The mightiest nuclear weapons ever devised are powerless against Gamera, the Invincible. Is humanity doomed? Will the world be destroyed? The United Nations is called to emergency session in a last desperate effort to save the world.
We have one plan that we think might work. We have discussed Plan Z with the Japanese authorities, and they agree it is the best of our alternative plans. Is that correct, sir?
That is so. Plan Z is hope of the world.
A cast of thousands at the mercy of the most terrifying monster that ever lived. Brian Donlevy as General Arnold.
Is beyond comprehension. He must be stopped now.
Albert Decker as the Secretary of Defense. Will Plan Z stop Gamera? Gamera, the Invincible.
まあ、お役に立つかどうかは分かりませんがね。ベルリン陥落直後、ドイツの潜水艦からフランケンシュタインの心臓を引き取って広島英治病院へ届けました。その時、永久に死なない心臓だと聞いたんです。
やっぱりその心臓から怪物が発生するんですか？
どうしたのよ。いいえ、人間です。フランケンシュタインだとしても人間ですよ。
しかしまともな人間じゃない。作られた人間です。
こんな事件が起こってもフランケンシュタインじゃないとおっしゃるんですか？
We don't know yet whether he caused all that destruction or not.
From the ocean's unfathomable depths, a gigantic, man-like creature appears. From the fiery depths of the earth comes a prehistoric mastodon of destruction. Never before has the screen known such heart-stopping terror. Starring Nick Adams.
Well, I feel he's very important from a scientific point of view. I'd have to cut off a leg or an arm.
Doctors, I won't let you conduct this test.
Frankenstein, with the strength of 1,000 men. And every man's need for affection that makes him a willing captive.
The chain hurts you.
The new scoop of the century. The horrifying touch of a severed hand with a life of its own. The terrifying force of a monster that dwarfs man's tallest structures.
This is Cara LeDoux, young, beautiful, desirable. Men found her irresistible, but something is happening to her. Something that she doesn't quite understand. And soon she will be swept up in a frantic fury of repulsion. Repulsion, a frightening film that takes the everyday world and distorts it.
To be with you all the time.
Repulsion, a terrifying look at the dark side of innocence losing control. Repulsion, a shocking plunge into the nightmare world of a young woman's sensual fantasies.
Just a little kiss between friends, huh? Come on.
House of Horrors. Horrors the screen has never before dared to depict. The terrifying horror of man killing vine with a human brain that creeps and kills. The terrifying horror of the dead, entombed for 200 years, that creeps its way back to terrorize the living. The terrifying horror of a dreaded man called Dr. Terror, who, with his deck of mystic cards, could foretell destiny. Dr. Terror's House of Horrors.
Die. Die, my darling. Die. Die.
Hurry!
Bye-bye, my darling. Bye-bye. Die.
Mrs. Trefoil!
Die, my darling. It's quite for the best that I lay you to rest. Die. Die, my darling.
You never intended to remain true to dear Stephen.
They are insane. All of them. Help! Get me out of here!
This gun is dangerous, Patricia.
Starring Tallulah Bankhead. Also starring Stephanie Powers as the Darling.
I'll pay you if you let me out of here.
In what way, love?
Don't!
Die. Die, my darling. Die. Die.
What will you do when Alan comes to get me? Beg for mercy? Cry?
No one is going to find you here, Patricia. No one.
There's no one here to help, darling. Only to kill you, darling. Only to kill you. Or worse, darling.
Want the car, do you?
You know what the price is, though, don't you? One of the most terrifying suspense thrillers this side of insanity. Die, die, my darling.
You must die. Die, my
Here is where it starts. 3 miles below the surface, as world-famous scientists, leaders of state, generals of the armies prepare to challenge the infinite.
We have within our grasp the limitless, clean heat of the inner Earth. We can transform all the continents and make a life of plenty for all mankind for the foreseeable future.
They knew that only a missile with an atomic warhead could crack the Earth's impenetrable inner core. Would it mean the end of the world or the beginning of a new life for all mankind? Miles under the Earth's surface, a man, his wife, and the man she once loved, living life as if this could be their last. Crack in the world, as Project Inner Space upsets the delicate balance of the Earth's core, rips our planet in two, bringing disaster in its wake, destruction, irrational terror, and unbelievable courage.
What if the crack keeps going, right around the world? What happens then?
Where the landmasses split, the oceans will be sucked in, and the colossal pressure generated by the steam will rip the Earth apart and destroy it.
It isn't possible. It's insane. Is there anything that we can do?
Pray.
Daring scientists descend into a 1,000-degree inferno with a live H-bomb in their deadly gamble to save the universe. Disappears when the brutal power of nature's inner force is released. Mankind totters on the brink of its own headlong rush to cataclysmic destruction.
I'll keep recording everything that happens as long as I can.
Sorensen, the whole project is going.
Nanny! Nanny! Nanny!
Betty Davis as the nanny adds another magnificent performance to her unequaled record of outstanding portrayals. Nanny had been in the family for years. Then, mysteriously, 2 are dead. 2 live on in constant terror. Nanny wasn't responsible, was she?
I'm frightened, Nanny. I'm frightened.
Was Nanny to blame when this radiant young mother crumbled into a neurotic woman?
But, Nanny, I don't want him home.
And young Joey, is he terrorized or terrorizing?
He's an homicidal nut.
He's a monster. It's the cruelest thing I've ever heard of.
What happens if you die in the night?
Huh? What happened in the bathroom, Nanny? I'm sure I don't know what you mean. What happened?
Miss Penn, go back to bed.
What happened?
The terror shock that can't be stopped.
You're not God. You're not even human. You murdered those men, and you made me a murderer, too.
Weird experiments of accursed scientists turn human beings into living hybrid hell monsters. Now you hold hands with the devil. Now you run for your life from the terror, the torment, the torture inflicted by Satan's ambassador of evil. The next victim could be you, or you, or you, caught forever by the curse of the fly.
I'll stay with you with my body and my senses until someone comes and destroys my heart.
Barbara Steele, in an original and passionate interpretation of the double role of Muriel and Jenny. One woman with two faces, or two women with the same face but profoundly different. A fearful doubt, a sinister enigma which becomes an obsessive nightmare. Victim of the sorcery of a merciless and diabolical sadist.
About last night. It wasn't just an hallucination. It was something unreal, mysterious. And when I was in bed, I knew I was with you when I heard the heartbeat.
A film that will take your breath away, that will hold you spellbound.
I have the power to abandon this body and enter yours.
This is my fiancée, Miss Evelyn Lang, and this...
And Mr. Kingsford, why are you not dead?
Did he have a knife?
No knife did that. He had claws.
No. Don't touch it! Put it down! That thing felt like it was alive.
Robert! Wake up!
There are answers I must have before I go out of my mind.
Everything will be answered before the day of your wedding.
6 killings that we know of, and 7 spokes in the Sumerian wheel.
So tomorrow, the 7th killing?
Before midnight.
answers. All of them, at last.
Get out of this room.
Boris Karloff, never before more demoniacal. He takes you beyond the boundaries of shock. For their love in a world haunted by horror.
What was that?
Will the breath of the living be snuffed out by the hand of darkness? The monster lives in death.
If you are a woman, you walk these streets at your peril. For this is London's Whitechapel in the time of Jack the Ripper, one of the world's most infamous killers.
Hello, darling. Like a bit of fun?
Please! Please!
The dense black fog of London hides a multitude of sin. It shields a murderer whose urge to kill is conceived in cunning and born in a maniac's hell. Here are the body spitting sawdust haunts the Ripper knew. But who was the Ripper? Only one man thought he knew the answer. His address...
221B Baker Street, please, cabby.
His name was Sherlock Holmes.
It's true these murders are the work of a madman, but a madman with certain medical skills, considerable intelligence, and education.
Then if you're right, Mr. Holmes, it brings us back to the doctors.
Sherlock Holmes, the original special agent, forerunner of today's thrill makers. Sherlock Holmes, a genius at detecting the improbable and solving the impossible.
Incredible. Elementary, my dear Watson.
Dr. Watson, the other half of this fantastic partnership. This is Carfax, who helped Holmes more than he knew. And Murray the doctor, whose tongue was as sharp as his scalpel.
This butcher boy has the government, has all of us on the edge of a knife. Only this morning, 3 more men were attacked in the streets of London.
These were the women who lived in the shadow of the Ripper. The redhead, once famed for her beauty. The gay, buxom little blonde. The provocative brunette. These were the kind of women the Ripper loved, till murder did them part.
You'll never see anything like it this side of hell.
Mrs. Vincent Price, Dr. Goldfoot, with plans to possess most of the money in the world. Frankie Avalon knows it. Dwayne Hickman finds out about it. Susan Hart is an innocent tool of the plan.
Hello, darling.
Jack Mulaney helped make the plan. And special guest star Fred Clark just doesn't believe it.
You're nuts!
All right, follow me. These lush bikini babes are built, produced to perform. And they have the knack of doing what they're built to do. She walks. She talks.
Come here, tiger.
She makes love.
Did you miss me, precious?
Sex has never been funnier. She isn't human. But she is gorgeous.
Mr. Armstrong, you're married to a robot.
Dr. Goldfoot is a dangerous man, but he does have his lighter moments.
All right.
It's all right.
Faster, Igor, faster. Igor! Dr. Goldfoot? Igor, where have you been? Here they come again! Stop singing that song!
Dr. Goldfoot and his bikini machine. Dr. Goldfoot, the wildest scene that you've ever seen. Dr. Goldfoot, Dr. Goldfoot.
Why do you want to cheat on me?
This is just the beginning of the wildest, weirdest adventure you've ever seen.
I don't care for playing fair, I'm not the sharing kind.
Now anything goes. And everything grows. And this is where the fun really began.
I wonder if this makes everything grow. Hey, will you cut it out and leave it alone, huh?
Listen, Freddie boy, if I want to try some of this stuff, just don't you try and stop me, understand?
And try it they did.
Sheriff, we are going to take over this town. Now, first of all, there's going to be a 9 o'clock curfew for all adults.
It's wild. It's way out. It's Village of the Giants.
Whether you like it or not, little man, we're just going to have to show you what's good for you, that's all.
Maybe we don't like your club either.
You're in it anyway.
See what happens when young rebels explode 30 feet tall. Village of the Giants.
This man's name is John Austin Frazier.
He lived in Chicago, Illinois. He now resides at the State Mental Hospital. We are saddened to tell you that this tragic condition was brought on when Mr. Fraser attended the world premiere of our triple nightmare of horror program, Orgy of the Living Dead. Since this tragic event, the producers of the program have secured an insurance policy, ensuring the sanity of each and every patron. The policy states that in the event you lose your mind as a result of viewing this explosion of terror, you will be provided with free internment in an asylum for the rest of your natural life. Poor John. It's not surprising, though, after all, murder, mutilation, blood-sucking vampires, living dead maniacs, slashing, rending, devouring the living. It's enough to drive anyone mad. Be sure you're insured before you dare to see Revenge of the Living Dead, Curse of the Living Dead, and Fangs of the Living Dead.
Never before so much paralyzing terror as in this hair-raising orgy of sadism, influenced by the shocking writings of the evil, depraved Marquis de Sade. Bloody Pit of Horror. Starring Mickey Hargitay as the Crimson Executioner. They come to photograph seductive models against a medieval background and find themselves helplessly trapped in a castle of horrors.
Susie! What?
At the mercy of the twisted perversions of a madman who satisfies his lust by torturing his victims with the bone-breaking rack. The razor-sharp swords. The scalding, boiling oil. The deadly spider web. These and other fiendish torments make Bloody Pit of Horror one of the most terrifying films ever made.
Do your eyes dare witness total terror? Frankenstein meets the Space Monster. This is it. For the first time on the screen, America's missile might mobilized against annihilating invaders from outer space.
We have come here to this planet for one purpose only, to acquire breeding stock to repopulate our planet.
See the kidnapping of the Earth Maidens for the love-starved slaves of the sterile planet.
Very good. We have done well, Nadia.
I am pleased, Princess. You are satisfied.
I will be satisfied when we have enough more like her to commence phase 3.
See the terrifying invasion of the Beach Party. See a United States astro robot become a creature of death. For the first time, see Earth horror versus space terror. See Frankenstein meets the Space Monster in Futurama.
You are even more lovely than you were in the other life.
An underground hell somewhere beneath beautiful ancient Venice, which many come to see and admire. Among them, this group of young travelers, some of whom will remain never to be seen again, except by the embalmer. monster of the deep with a blood-chilling pattern for murder, submerging with his victims into the fathomless canals which interlace the city.
Give me that tray.
One of them hides the grisly secret of a madman. The secret that is finally exposed in a flood of action, terror, and suspense that spell The Embalmer.
I'm George Maharis, and this is the Satan bug. It's kept in there, beyond those doors. But you can't get in. It's top secret. The Satan bug is kept under the tightest security system ever devised. That door operates on a time lock. Open it 1 second before you should, and 1,000 volts of electricity will greet you. Try to get over these electrified fences, and trained killer dogs will go after you. Try to get through that front gate. You can't. Unless your life's history is on file in that guardhouse. Yes, the Satan bug is top secret. It's no secret, however, that I think the Satan bug is one of the most suspenseful and exciting pictures I've ever seen. But don't take my word for it. You see it.
Let's prepare for a landing, Brad.
Okay.
In a 40G gravity atmosphere, strange thing happens to man's body and mind. Barry Sullivan and Norma Bengell take you into the most fantastic science fiction adventure ever filmed.
Emergency! Emergency! Conditions desperate. Little chance of survival. Help us.
Mark, look! What have you got? The Galliot. Bert, get me a fix on this right now. Wes, Brad, controls.
Planet of the vampires. Harboring a form of life worse than death. Planet of the bloodless. Creatures who take men's bodies, but attack like vampires.
I'll tell you this, if there are any intelligent creatures on this planet, they're our enemies.
In this outer space world, the living dead try to escape into life.
Salas. No, just his body. And I'm just one of many beings on this planet. And we're fighting to survive. It's imperative that our race continue to exist. We arranged for several of you to kill each other so that we could take over your bodies. You are our last chance.
No, never. We'll all of us give up our lives to save our own race.
This is my world. I am their king.
Vincent Price. His kingdom threatened by volcanic destruction. A king so captivated by an Earthwoman's beauty, he sends his half-man, half-monster gillmen to kidnap her. War Gods of the Deep takes Tab Hunter in his attempt to rescue lovely Susan Hart into a world as unbelievable as David Tomlinson and his bosom pal, a hen named Herbert.
Don't worry, Herbert. I'll get you home in time for tea.
This is a world as old as the ocean.
It's a hunting party. These creatures help us to obtain food.
And death is always near.
There is no way out. Not for you. And not for him.
Nor for the girl?
They must not escape.
Dance, baby, dance, come and dance with me. Hear the beat of the pounding sea. Ride, baby, ride, come and ride with me. Let your feet go easy and free.
What do you make of this? Where does the other end go? It dumps into the ocean.
It looks exactly like the South American Fantigua fish. I hope you can take one alive, Sheriff.
I still believe that a human clawed that girl to death.
The Beach Girls and the Monster, starring John Hall, Sue Casey, and the glamorous Watusi dancing girls from Hollywood's famed Whiskey A Go-Go nightclub. Music by Frank Sinatra Jr.
You got a monster in the surf.
Chicks, do you have a problem? You won't have after you meet the monster on the beach. If you see this ghoul, play it cool. Beauties in bikinis, laughing, singing, surfing, sinning. Beach party lovers making hey hey in the moonlight while the monster waits and watches. Yeah. This one will kill you.
Rocket into outer space with the heroic astronauts daring to explore beyond the moon, beyond the outer limits of human adventure, beyond the barrier of human credibility, fighting the unknown forces and secret terrors science couldn't predict.
There's a monstrous thing aboard this station from the moon. That's what killed Weber.
What kind of a monstrous thing?
Discover the monstrous horror from the moon, threatening to destroy everything it touches. The fiendish force that ignited the loves, the hates, the passions of the explorers in space.
Oh, Gordon, I miss you so much. It's so lonely out here.
All these men around?
And don't tease me not now.
The awesome adventure of the astronauts of Space Station X7, the journey that controlled the destiny of the world.
Suppose that space station gets out of control. Suppose it plunges toward Earth, carrying that deadly thing with it.
Well, it should burn up when it hits the atmosphere.
Yes, it should, but suppose one tiny fragment didn't.
The space-age drama from tomorrow's headlines. The suspense, the drama, the terror of human beings facing a fiendish monster from the moon. Too incredible to believe, too gigantic to control, too mysterious for man to comprehend.
This is mutiny.
Mutiny in outer space.
Terror creatures from the grave.
Avenge me! I've summoned you! Avenge me!
Go back to the dead!
In a dreadful night of reckoning, the forces of darkness strike with blood-freezing horror.
You're here.
A nightmare of diabolical happenings, conceived in a murder-haunted house of blood by the maniac called Geronimus, a dead man with the monstrous power to return from his grave.
I tell you, it was my father. I saw him.
What are you saying? Can't you see the boat is empty?
Look! Look! There's water dripping from the oars.
A bone-chilling shocker, inspired by Edgar Allan Poe.
No!
Terror Creatures from the Grave, starring Barbara Steele.
It's so scary, we dare you to see The Monsters Crash the Pajama Party, the first movie ever filmed in Hollywood's latest miracle, fantastic horror vision. You'll be petrified as fiendish movie monsters actually become alive, then crash right out of the screen, run into the audience, and carry screaming girls from their seats right back into the picture to become part of the movie, never to be seen alive again. They might choose you. We warn you, this is not 3D. The movie monsters actually become real flesh and blood. See what happens when the Pajama Party Girls meet the Mad Doctor's girl-crazed monsters. 1,001 exciting scenes, on screen and right in the audience alive. All in the world's weirdest movie, The Monsters Crash the Pajama Party, in horror vision and color.
Out of the dark, forbidden forest of ghostly, there was created an evil structure that would become a curse to all. This would be known as the frightening, the evil House of the Black Death. See Lon Chaney as the Black Magician, who carried out the command of Satan. John Carradine as the leader of a cult dedicated to the task of unleashing demons upon the world. Never before has a motion picture captured the fright, the stark, terrifying horror, the chills, the uncanny thrills that are to be found within the walls of this castle of evil.
A fiendish conspiracy by the masters of the galaxy to invade our planet with human-like robots programmed to kill.
Yes, Mr. Martin. Androids. Superhuman robots.
You'll tremble in horror as this android scientist creates electronic brains, and with his monster machine, duplicates live human bodies.
Do you have any human emotion?
Ardent lovers become mortal enemies when one is duplicated and ordered to hate, to murder. Beware, the person next to you may be a deadly android, a member of this frightening society of robots, geared to destroy you. Beware of these cruel, heartless machines they call androids. You'll freeze with fear as you enter the cold world of the living dead, where terror dwells and horror waits for you, the human duplicators.
Go, monster, go, go, go. Say now, go, monster, go. Go, monster, go. Oh, ah, go, monster, go.
Go to this theater to see the science fiction picture to end all science fiction pictures. Did he or didn't he? Is he a monster or isn't he? Only his space agency knows for sure, and they won't tell. When the capsule comes down without the astronaut, everyone is on the go, including who or what did come down. Monster a go-go. Here's the picture that grabs the screen and shakes it. The picture that makes you wonder if the Earth is coming to an end right in the theater in front of you. Never in your life have you seen such a combination of happy, sad, good, bad, rock'em sock'em action. When you walk out, you wonder what you've seen, because never has there been a motion picture like this. Monster a go-go, with a genuine 10-foot-tall monster to give you the whim-whams. Monster a go-go, with astronauts and space capsules and pretty girls, and cosmic radiation and pretty girls, and screams and pretty girls. There's something for everyone in the picture they're all talking about, the picture with Go. Monster a go-go.